I'm calling the November 27th, 2023 Franklin Public Library Board of Trustees meeting to order. This is Maria Imp, and I will take attendance. And Maria Klubgia.
Here.
Annalie Bennon is excused. Doris Weber.
Here.
Terry Barris is excused. Judy Williams-Kalaki.
Here.
Alan Alexandrovich.
Here.
Mike Karlevitz.
Here.
And Michelle Eichmann is excused. We have no visitors, no public comment. A couple donations this month. We're already on agenda item 3. Jennifer, you want to comment on those?
No, just this, the 476 was the leftover funds raised from Shrikar's Eagle Scout project.
Which
So
looks really nice.
They turned it over to the library to do plantings next year because obviously we're not gonna be able to do them
Right.
this year. And then $150 from a Franklin resident to help cover the costs. Actually, it did cover the costs of the
Nice.
Sit with Santa program.
Nice. And she's the same one that is
Donates for
donates for
Bev.
Beth. Yeah. So very nice. Thank you. Okay, so looking at the minutes from the last month's library board meeting, any questions, comments?
No, I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, Doris and Alan, anybody see anything else on there they want to ask or comment on? All in favor? Aye. Anybody opposed or abstain? Motion carries. Okay, take it away, Alan.
Okay, going through the invoices for Fund 15, again, there was nothing out of the ordinary. Pretty straightforward. So I'm looking for a motion to approve $17,118.80 of the for the invoices for November.
I make a motion to accept.
Anne Marie?
I'll second.
Okay, Annie and Mike? Any other questions for Alan? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed or abstain? Motion carries.
Invoices for Fund 16 were $3,276.45, and there was nothing unusual. So I'm looking for a motion to accept
I
those
so
invoices.
move.
I will second. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed or abstain? Motion carries. Okay. Moving right along.
Moving right along, yes. In reviewing the financials, October represents 83.29% of the year. For Fund 15, our revenue is 97.69% of the budget. Investment earnings were down to $2,867. That's down 19% from last month. What kind of makes some sense as we're going through the year, we have less and less balance because we get all that money at the very
That's
beginning
true.
of the year from the city. So, not unusual, but it seemed to take a bigger dip than prior months.
Was it a combination of the market and the,
Couldn't tell you.
couldn't tell you. Okay.
City would tell us, but what we do know is that when I get to Fund 16, the investment income was down a little bit, but it was like dollars. It looked pretty
Huh.
normal.
Huh.
But again, Fund 16, the money that we have in there are donations, and
Tends to,
yeah, it tends to be, I think,
more
a
steady.
more steady
Interesting.
balance.
okay.
So I don't think it was the interest rates.
Okay.
Well, is it possible that their investments are bonds and not stocks?
They are, there's a lot, they're
Oh, yeah.
bond
They're
heavy.
bonds, so that's gonna be
Yeah,
the
the
bond
bonds
market
went
is
down.
all over the place right now, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so depending on where you're at.
Yeah.
And I just found the answer to my question, so
Wow.
now I don't get to answer.
Aw.
Okay. Moving right along. Total expenditures were 78.06% of budget. I noticed subscriptions, which last year for all of 22 were $14,057, and we're already at 17,971 in 23, which is a 28% increase. But it's 98% of the budget, and subscriptions, a lot of those come in
Annual, yeah,
annually. So it looks like we definitely did budget for it.
correctly. yeah.
So I asked Jennifer, and she said yes. One of the things that we're paying for is Canopy. Mick paid last year.
Right.
Oh,
Hoopla.
that's right.
Hoopla.
Sorry.
Okay. One of
Hoopla.
those.
One of those beads things. Anyway, so that hit it, and inflation, I mean, people are charging more.
Right. And do we have, that you know of, other than like the small periodicals, like any of our other major subscription things
Well, we're
coming
going-
due in December then, or,
Our monthly,
oh,
our monthly Journal Sentinel bill, which is like $48.
oh, okay, but not like
I-
one of the
we
major.
should be within the
Yeah, within the budget, perfect, okay.
But yeah, the newspapers keep going up.
Get one of our business partners to
I know.
sponsor.
That's what I'm trying.
We need more business partners.
Yeah,
And the only other thing I noted is, again, the electric bill, we're 1 month behind, and we seem to be staying there for a while. And other than that, the accounts were discussed in prior months, or the expenditures were as anticipated.
super.
Fund 16, total revenue is running at 111.83% of budget. 4419 and 4764, which are taxable sales and library sales, were strong. And I think you noted in yours that we had, the book sales were really
Yeah.
strong.
Yeah,
was
the
amazing.
rummage sale was great.
Yeah. So that explains that. Total expenditures are running 94.45% of budget. Other than these accounts or any other accounts from prior months that we've discussed, expenditures are as anticipated. Cash register report is perfect as expected.
Okay, so that question about Fund 16,
Yes, sir.
things like furniture and fixtures, are we expecting to get money in from somebody? Because we shouldn't be budgeting at 200% of the budget.
Oh, that was the gift that we got for the children's chairs from FJ Chiropractic.
So we take it out, it looks like it's
Yeah.
coming out of the budget, but the donation comes in on a different line item. And we've
Yeah.
always had that problem, but which line item is that it comes in under?
In 16, wouldn't it be refunds and reimbursements or miscellaneous revenue?
Oh, we got this donations library right on top.
Yeah, I think it was
And
I think it was
miscellaneous library.
donations.
Through there.
We've talked forever about
That
that. and how
4884
that's-
in April, that 4884 in April, 4,000 something was the chairs.
But it looks like an overage or, overspending in that area of,
Yeah. And I talked to the city about it. There's just nothing I can do about that.
other than letting us know, and,
Yeah.
yeah, that's hard to always remember. Good question, though.
Oh, yeah. Any other questions? Nothing jumped out at me.
Because you're on top of everything.
Yeah. The credit card summary, again, the only number that looked larger than normal was volunteer /
Oh.
employee recognition.
Always at this time of the year.
This time of year, yeah. So that's out of the norm, but expected at this time of year.
Right, right.
And that is the extent of my report.
Anybody have questions or comments for Alan? All right, we will move right along then to agenda item 6, new business. On page 14, we have the calendar for this year, or for 2024, sorry, with all of our holidays, closed days, half days, and board meetings. And I ask this every year, but we have confirmed, we know what that civic celebration is in July. It's already,
Well, it's on the
It's on the
website under
website,
city
yes.
events.
okay, excellent. Okay, because that one caught us one year, many years ago, so. I
They
just wanna
changed
make
them on me.
sure- Yeah.
What is
yeah.
the half day in February?
Staff training,
Oh,
probably.
in service, yeah.
That's what they
That's
are.
President's Day.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Okay. I guess, any questions about that?
I'm just, how are things working out with the new hours?
Good. We're busy at 9 o'clock,
AM, yeah.
9 a.m., yeah. And really, it didn't affect staff at all because they can do their work while we're open. You know, they can do all the check-in stuff while we're open. We have a library clerk that comes in early to run paging and do things that need to be done before the public enters the building, but then the library assistants and start at 9, and there's
So
no
we're
problem.
actually open an extra half hour,
Hour.
extra hour? Well, we used to close at 8:30. Now we're closing at 8.
Yeah, but we open at
9.
9.
So it's an
So
additional
it's a half hour, it's over the space of 4 days, it's an extra hour, 2 hours a week that we're open.
So in essence, we're providing additional service at no additional cost.
Right,
That should be like a big star on that one when we go talk to the city budget.
yeah.
Can do that.
Mm-hmm. So you said 2.5 hours a week?
2.
2.
Because Friday we used to be open
Right.
10 to 6, now we're open
9 to 5.
9 to
Right.
5.
Okay.
Any more conversations about Sunday hours?
No, we keep weekend statistics like the gate count, and we're still remain pretty busy on, that's why I didn't bring anything to you guys, because
Yeah.
we're busier.
Mm-hmm.
And even that 9 to 10 on Saturday, which I thought would be
Yeah,
dead,
yeah.
we actually get like between anywhere from 40 to 60 through the gates during that
Wow.
hour. So it's not really,
Wow.
Yeah,
I know, I wouldn't.
well, it's really
Would be
interesting.
me.
Saturday's my day to kind of like do running around, and I'm usually out well before, and it's like the city wakes up at 9 o'clock on Saturday,
right,
and then
yeah.
everybody hits the road to
Yeah.
do their thing, so 9's plenty early.
Mike's part of the crowd.
Yeah, and then the 4 o'clock, the only problem with the 4 o'clock is we did, when we closed at 5 o'clock on Saturdays,
Yeah.
we weren't having to chase people out of the library so much, but 4 o'clock, oftentimes
You
we
have to
are.
remind pe- Okay.
That's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay to do that
Yeah.
sometimes.
But,
Is it less than 40 to 60 people that
yeah,
you're missing out?
yeah.
Then that's fine.
And a lot of times it's study
Yeah,
room,
exactly.
and a lot
Oh,
of
it's
times
study
it's study
room.
room
Sure.
people,
Yeah.
yeah, users, study room
Well, and it's really
users.
easy to just lose track of time, too.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Doing that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Okay, then I will move to approve the 2024 holiday and library closings calendar.
Second.
Judy? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed or abstain? Motion carries.
So do we post this as well?
Okay, so for the master calendar, we are just reviewing, we don't need to do any approval necessary of it because technically, according to our bylaws, we approve it in July or August at our annual meeting. So this is just a review. So
So I shouldn't make any comments or ask any
you,
questions?
this is absolutely the time to ask questions and make comments.
I
So-
only see one time in the year where we have policy updates, but we
We get them
play with
quarterly.
the policy all year round.
True.
So,
Should we
Yeah,
just take
you're
that
right.
off
We
the
could take that
calendar?
off.
Yeah.
yeah, as needed, we do it. So rather than saying this is when we do it.
Yep,
Yeah, we do it every month.
we do it every month.
Pretty much do.
And then the 3 items that are starred, I think what happened, and Judy and, do you guys have stars on yours?
No.
No,
Oh.
you got the best one. 'cause you got the stars.
Seeing things, right?
No, I'm seeing
I was like,
stars, Annie. Okay, sorry. So the only thing that I would propose looking at, whether now or at our annual meeting, is I think a couple years ago, when the city evaluation system moved to a January 1st, the personnel committee needed some extra time to do the whole evaluation process. But man, do we got it down to a science now. So we could possibly shift that back. We did not need to do that in September, but it may not be a bad idea just to keep that initial meeting on the calendar. But that would be the only thing that maybe after, maybe this summer when we approve the calendar, we could look at that again. Because we don't, even when we met in September, giving that evaluation out in October didn't make a lot of sense to us because it was only 3/4 of the way through the year. So I think we'll look at this summer shifting at least the evaluation to November, which is when we did it this
Well, yeah, I
year,
wonder
so.
if you could shift everything down by like 1
Right,
month.
by
Yeah,
1 month.
I agree.
Okay.
To the
Well, then we
committee
can
meetings.
just-
Forms out.
Why don't
September, yeah, all
you,
that.
Jennifer, why don't you just make those changes and then, and the policy update, take that off. And then when we officially approve the calendar in July, it'll be.
So everything for
Those-
personnel committee gets shifted down.
Yeah, so the September, if you wanna just, yeah,
Yeah, I got it.
got those three, okay. Okay, again, we're not, oh, go ahead.
Mine has updated November 22nd, 2021, and I know that we've made changes to the
Yeah.
master calendar other
Oh.
than that. What do you have
Oh.
on yours that has the stars on it?
Mine is November
2021.
22nd, 2021.
You all have
Yeah.
that?
I think that's the most recent, I don't think we made any changes last year. Did we?
We did something. I don't remember. what it was.
I think we did, because we added
We added
the
things.
finance committee thing.
Yep.
Maybe I just
We
didn't
moved
change
things
the
around
date.
because of the
Okay, maybe I
budget.
didn't
We
change
definitely
that.
were-
Yep.
Maybe I
Date
didn't
at the
change
bottom.
the date at the bottom.
Okay.
So
We'll
again,
update- We'll update it with.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I'll update it for,
Note to self,
right.
change the date.
I'll star it.
I want to change my answers to the director's review.
Yeah.
thing,
Survey, nope, it's closed.
As of 1:42 this afternoon. Yeah,
Okay, let it go. That's fine.
all right. And you have, officially, you have until July to add any, because like I said, according to our bylaws, that's when we're supposed
Well,
to
and, you
do
know,
this.
if we're talking about a master calendar for the year,
Yeah, I know. We talked about this in the bylaws too. Because in the bylaws, it was one of those state things that we were supposed to come up with.
The
We have
annual
to-
meeting is in
The
July.
annual meeting is in July, the board members are appointed in July, and the master calendar is developed in July. I mean, there's these things that according to the state thing. So we had decided that then in January, when we kind of made our master calendar, or looked at it since it was a January to December, that we would call it a review. So, all righty. All right, any other questions about that? Then we will move on. Library Board Retreat is scheduled for January
13th.
13th. Yeah,
And I'm hoping that will coincide with we won't have to have a special meeting like we did last year.
right.
That we'll be
Right.
able to do the approval of the invoices
Oh,
for 2023
Yes.
at that, I hope.
And that starts at 8 a.m. and went till about 11. Is that correct? But the,
Yeah.
I don't have.
Yeah, and we told the yoga people they couldn't use the room that day.
Oh, I remember that.
That's right.
Okay.
So
They were
won't come in.
mad that we were
So-
changing stuff, right?
So
Well,
they don't come in.
okay. Remember that being the issue, and a little issue, yes. Okay. All right, so Jennifer, we'll have another reminder at next month's meeting and send out something. Perfect. All right. And if there's anything specific for that retreat, please let Jennifer or I know so we can put it on the agenda. We will use the same agenda that we did last year, basically. But if there's anything else specific, and I will just
it
mention,
might be a good thing to get out next month. What did last year's agenda look like, and so that we can kind of, throw stuff out there.
I agree, because I already have a couple things on there that yeah. Well, and they might fall, I have to look at the agenda and see if they fall under the general, the agenda items, or if
Right, yeah.
we need to put them as an extra item, so. And if we have to do those approvals, that has to be on
Yeah.
that agenda. So
Yeah.
yeah, just throw it out there. Alrighty. 6D under new business is the wallpaper
Yeah.
proposal. I know, and
It's exciting.
So I think it's funny because I just noticed it's Franklin Public Library, Bob, and then job address is Franklin Public Library, Bob's address. That's kind of funny. So A&M Painting does a lot of work for the city, and because they do a lot, because the city is a pretty good.
Are they the ones
Customer?
that painted the outside of the buildings? I think they are, right?
They
Outside of
might
like the
be.
church and
They-
whatever.
They do a lot of jobs.
They
and
did
so-
a terrible job.
Oh, really? They do a fantastic job in the
Historical
library.
Society?
Yeah, all
Oh, I don't
summer I
know that
kept
that
going,
was-
when are they coming back to do the second coat? Because it looks
Oh.
terrible.
Well, it might not be them then.
Okay,
They
let's
might-
hope.
that might
But
have
they
been
have
his-
a all black
That's the
sign?
historical, that's
Oh,
the
no.
historical,
The historical people might have
might
Okay,
have
they'll
done
hired
that.
somebody
Yeah,
different.
yeah.
Their
I'm gonna
sign
be-
was like black with gold lettering, so maybe
Oh.
that's
Yeah,
different than
I'm
that
gonna be
one.
nitpicky on this, is that, you know, when you have a proposal like this that takes it down to cents, but you don't have things like hourly rate or materials or things like that, it's just like, I don't know how they came up with these numbers. You know, it's, if you're saying, we estimate it's gonna take X amount of hours at this number, this rate per hour, and it's gonna take this amount of paint at blah, 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 you know, and then you can tick and tie all the details and say, yeah, it totals out to $3,272.50. So there isn't a detail there, and then they have something in the proposal where they have details about exterior painting. Are they doing any exterior painting?
No.
Or is
They
that
should-
just their standard?
It's probably just their standard.
So, considering that they're doing a really long hallway, removing wallpaper, and we don't know what the condition of the wall is underneath, because the wall underneath wouldn't even have been painted, it's just
Oh, it's just the
Yeah.
drywall.
drywall or the
Luckily, it's peeling off mostly, so hopefully.
easy
Well,
remove.
if anybody who's taken glue from wallpaper off of a wall. that
Yeah, you
hasn't
don't
been
know if it's gonna
pre-treated,
take,
it's-
yeah.
Well,
The
and
wall's
that's,
gonna be ugly.
yeah. So there's gonna be work, so there's gonna be stripping of the wallpaper, then they're gonna have to apply, because I met with Armando from A&M Painting. They're gonna have to apply chemicals to clean off
Clean up that
what-
adhesive.
whatever the
yeah.
goo is, and then prep it for paint.
Do they know when they'll be doing this?
Well, if we approve it tonight, it'll be December 11th to 15th.
Do we don't have programming in the,
No, that was a good week because we only have the
Okay.
book clubs and we can easily move
Yeah.
the book clubs
Okay.
out of there.
Can
You
we
pretty much
get that in the contract though, the prepping of the walls and everything, a little more detail?
Yeah.
Just because I don't want it to come under unforeseen conditions. Do you know what I mean? There's.
Strip
Yeah,
wallpaper.
strip wallpaper, wall painting, it doesn't account for that. Do you know what I mean?
You mean unforeseen conditions number 4?
I just don't want it to show up as an unforeseen, like we have to charge you more because that wasn't in our quote. I'd like
Okay.
to see that in writing.
So adding this,
Yeah,
removing
what they're gonna have to do to the wall.
the stripping of the wallpaper,
Mm-hmm.
including,
Right now, it just says all surfaces will be scraped, sanded to
Yeah,
remove peeling paint. Well, it's not even to remove peeling paint; it's to remove peeling
yeah,
wallpaper, right?
Yeah.
yeah,
because
I
it just says strip.
I'm okay,
wallpaper.
I'm okay with the cost because I've been getting estimates for my own house, so I see, it sounds okay. But I'd like to see that added in, like the
Okay.
actual proposal. And then I'm okay approving it.
Okay.
But just so that wording, you know, like what you said, they said they were gonna have to do to the walls. Because right now all it says is strip wallpaper.
Yeah.
So what if they come back and say, well, we had to prep it and we had to condition it and treat it, and that's an unforeseen condition. So we're gonna have to charge you $2,000 more. Do you know what I mean?
So in order to keep it on track and be able to get it done, can we approve it
Yeah, that's what
With
I'm
that
saying.
condition.
with
Yeah.
those
Yeah.
conditions? Yeah.
I also had a question that they say that they're gonna use 2 coats of paint, but, you know, what does that mean? If they're just gonna use 2 regular coats of paint over a wall that's been pretty much God knows what, I mean, I know if I'm doing stuff like that, I'm probably gonna put some other type of thing
Texture.
underneath the coat of paint,
Primer.
like Kills or something like that to
Mhm.
prepare the wall, like a primer.
Well, it
And
says
then the
primer will
paint
be
will stick to
applied
the
on
primer.
bare wood, but this isn't bare wood; it's drywall. If I agree with you, don't you put the primer on the actual drywall?
Well, that's the exterior primer will be applied on bare wood. Interior, they don't
Well,
have
that's
anything about.
that's going back to
primer.
Mike's point about why do they have exterior listed on there?
Well, I think this is just their standard their
Verbiage.
standard sheet.
Like, these are standard, this is the proposal,
Yeah, this is
just
the
for
proposal,
us,
this
yes.
is the standard information sheet.
Yeah. Do you wanna ask about that too?
Well, they do say
Yeah.
all surfaces will receive 2 coats of paint.
But from my talk with them, that's what they would do. They'd strip it, apply chemical, then prime it, then paint it, is what he basically
Yeah,
said.
can
And
we
it's
just
like
put
a
that
3 to
in
4
the
day,
actual
it's a 3 to
proposal?
4, yeah. It's a 3 to 4 day, at least, project.
They're doing it right, and if they specify that, then we.
So I'll
know
have
something
them, I'll have them,
I make a
Redo it.
motion, we approve it with the specifications and the proposal added.
I'll second
How's that?
that.
Excellent, so, whoops, I'm lost here. Annie and Dora seconded. Any other questions or comments for that? Right, all in favor?
Aye.
Yeah.
Anybody opposed or abstained?
It's exciting.
I know.
then the paintings can go up, the new
Right.
veterans artwork
Right,
can go
yeah.
up.
All right, this month we are reviewing the credit card policy and credit card agreement on page 19 and 20 of our packet. Do you want to explain the changes? Because I didn't quite see the ones that we kind of talked about at our meeting, so.
Well,
Or was that just the
No, that
raising
was
that
the-
limit, you know, you
Yeah.
wanted, okay, gotcha.
so, first of all, unbeknownst to me, they had like increased our credit limit to like 30,000. So I have to call them
Mm-hmm. Well, they,
because they do it.
that.
They just
Yeah,
do it
they just do it,
automatically,
yeah.
and I'm like, Carrie and I were talking about it, and she goes, "You know, our limit's like 30." I'm like, "What?"
yeah, yeah.
But
'Cause you're such
the
a good
problem is,
customer.
and Carrie will love you guys forever if you say yes to this. So the problem is that the children's librarians use their cards a lot, and
Yeah.
they hit that $500
That's
limit.
Where am I? Where is it? Oh, limit
on
of
page 19.
Oh, you
Yeah.
didn't have that highlighted in red, so okay.
Well, that's because that's the current
the current.
policy.
Gotcha.
So what happens is then I have to go with them and we have to charge stuff on my card because I have the higher
Higher limit.
limit.
Well, we've been
And
using the
then-
credit cards for a while. Does it make sense to just go ahead and up the limit in general? And just change it to $1,000? Because otherwise, if we're gonna be.
Well, now that you're using them to use the points.
To get the points, for sure. That's what I was thinking. So it kind of goes along with that second
Yeah.
agreement then. You know, I would suggest taking out that highlighted sentence. I know we're doing both at once, but it kind of makes sense, but on the agreement, we are encouraging almost the use of the credit card to get those points. So I think that just eliminating that highlighted sentence in yellow.
Well, what was the conversation about the $500?
Yeah.
They just, they
They
They'd
want a higher
like
limit.
They want a higher limit.
limit.
They
So
hit
what-
that limit and then have to either use their own credit card and be reimbursed or come and get Jennifer's or,
What should the
Yeah.
limit be?
What
then?
do,
I'd say 1,000.
okay.
okay.
You
Do
know, if they
it.
go
Let's make that
over.
modification.
Yeah, because they even put like programming and whatever. on
Oh,
there,
yeah,
right?
And we've
yeah.
got
And-
the experience where we know that
Yes.
we're not having issues with any individuals and the use of credit cards, so if that was a concern.
Do we have in, I mean, you have in there that you can restrict it, right, in that second one
Right.
at
Right.
any time, so yeah. I mean, I know that you wouldn't have a problem with this particular staff member, but you never know.
never
Well,
know
right,
down the
yeah, you
road.
have
Right.
to, right, for sure.
Always have to cover that base.
Yeah.
And then Carrie pointed out too that she's the one that actually does the credit card stuff. So we changed it to library director or
Or
his, her designee.
Designate,
Yeah.
okay, yeah.
So that's on that first page. So I don't know if you want me to like keep the credit limit at 30,000
Why don't we?
Yeah.
or call them and have them lower it to
I mean, it's been at
Do-
30,000 for how,
You don't have to lower it, but just
I
call them
don't
and tell
know.
them you don't want it bumped any higher.
Okay.
yeah,
Because after like another year and a half of
Yeah.
Back up to
usage,
40
just take it
thousand.
off.
yeah.
Yeah, pretty soon it's gonna be 75 grand.
Oh.
And that's scary.
That's scary.
Then we
Yeah.
become a bank.
Yeah.
Okay, so I will call them and tell them not to go any higher.
So instead of the 22, it'll be 30 there.
What I'll do is I'll double check
Yeah,
exactly
double
what
check
it
with the
is.
bank.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then just put whatever
Yeah.
exactly it is.
I'll put exactly whatever it is and
The
then.
bank, the bank's
So the donation
approved,
accounts are-
the credit limit
There's
is.
your interest. Going into banking now.
And then on the credit card, we used to use house
Credit
accounts
card
more, but now we
Right.
use credit card
Right.
more.
That's why I was saying just take that sentence out
Okay.
of that agreement.
Those were the only changes Carrie and I could think of.
Okay, and as far as this $1,000 credit limit, then we go on and say that on a case-by-case basis, the library director.
Well, I was
can
gonna
raise
keep
so
it-
you can.
I was gonna keep the individual credit card limit at 500, but then say that increases to the established maximum and individual credit limits may be made on a case-by-case basis.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
Because not
Yeah.
everybody needs
Because
to
I'm
be
not, no,
1,000.
yeah, like Maureen doesn't need to be, Andy doesn't need to be,
Right.
Sam doesn't need to be, Laura
Yep.
G says 500's fine for her.
Yep.
So it's really the children's.
Sure, because there's paying programmers sometimes.
Programmers and program supplies
yeah.
and,
Yep.
Makes sense.
and it makes the credit card management for Carrie, like
Yes.
really awful.
Right.
yeah. Is 1,000 enough for Carrie?
For Brittany and Sarah?
No,
Oh.
for Carrie, you're saying that it's tough.
No,
And
no,
what
because
she
she-
has to do is
Because she manages-
reconcile
She has to
what
reconcile
accounts.
But is
everything.
and
1,000 enough then?
We think most of the time, and if it's not, I've got some.
case by case.
Yeah.
Case by case,
You can always make a change if needed.
yeah, if needed, but I think 1,000 will be.
The
enough.
problem is when you need it, you'll find out because the credit card's just been refused. That's when you'll find out that you need
Yeah,
it.
well, they're pretty good about keeping,
They know
They-
what they have on
they're
it.
like little Allens.
Oh my God. My condolences.
Yeah, they know down to the penny
Oh my gosh.
what they've spent on everything. They're very,
Yeah, you guys are all very frugal and
well, they look for the best,
Yeah.
yeah, Brittany's always shopping for the best deal.
she is.
All right, then do we need to,
Revisit.
I was gonna say,
Rebuy, would you need to
Um,
revise?
remove, do we need to approve these with a motion? Yeah, I was gonna say, we need to.
They're revised, it's
Yeah,
revised.
revision. Okay, so I will move that we approve the revision
We
of
have to
the,
decide what we're doing, because sometimes we do make a motion and sometimes we don't make a motion.
I think if we, no, I thought we did. Oh, you would know.
I would,
Revision.
yeah, so,
There's a
sometimes.
reaffirmation when they're just looking
Yeah.
at it and saying that doesn't need any
We're
change.
making
No, no,
changes
we're
to the
making
policy,
changes.
So we gotta prove it.
Yeah,
Okay.
It's one thing if we're looking at the policy and we're saying, yeah, it's good as is.
and then we reaffirm it. That's,
Are you making?
I made the motion. I am making the motion that we, do we have to make two separate motions?
Yes.
or Okay.
Yeah.
I make a motion that we approve the revision to the credit card. Now, see, this says credit card use policy. This says credit card policy. We're gonna call it the credit card policy,
yeah.
with the changes discussed.
Second.
And Alan.
Wait, we're calling it the credit card policy? or
Because that's what it's
on the agenda?
called. It's
Yeah.
called on the actual policy sheet. It is called the credit card
Just get rid of the
policy.
use. Get rid of the
Yes.
use. It's just credit card
Okay,
policy.
any other comments about those, the revisions? Okay, all in favor? Anybody opposed or abstained? Motion carries. And then I will move that we accept the revisions to the corporate credit card agreement.
The revisions are eliminating the, I understand the use of a house.
Yes.
Verbal. Good.
Are you
Second,
Yeah, sure.
Alan, whoever.
Or whoever.
Annie, I'll give it to you. Okay.
Andy didn't want it, I asked him if he wanted it.
Oh,
Second.
okay, Alan got it. Alan got it. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed or abstain? Perfect. Thank you. Alrighty, Michelle could not be here tonight, so the update on the council actions relating to the library. She didn't pass anything on.
There's just the public hearing.
I was gonna say, did you
and
wanna
the
mention?
budget vote tomorrow night,
So, yeah,
6:00.
so 6:00 tomorrow night, is the official
Hearing. and
hearing, the
vote.
adoption, the vote of the budget, and it's part of a council meeting. It's not a finance,
This is a special meeting.
it's a special meeting to do the budget, okay. All right, November 28th. All right, and then Anna Lee was unable to be here, but she sent me this district update. Today, during our staff professional development, we showed some staff how to link directly to a book in Sora, through an add-on in Google Classroom. Jill Poglaze, Franklin Public Library Media Specialist, Franklin Public Schools Library Media Specialist, has also shown our Library Media Center staff Book Flicks, which is a database that pairs fiction and nonfiction together for reading. This is new for us this year. That's it. So a couple new things for them, for their staff, directly are related to accessing materials and things like that. So that's pretty exciting for them. And did anybody from here, this was not one of those days where the library staff was involved in presenting anything to staff?
You know, Laura G might have been there.
She might have been there today.
Yeah.
Okay, I couldn't remember. I thought they just had another day in October also.
Yeah.
They did have a day in October.
They have one, it's once a month.
Once a month. So anyways.
Laura has gone.
Yep, she
Laura
has gone. I just
to
couldn't
these
remember.
meetings often.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so exciting news from the schools, as always. And as far as my report, I represented my church at the trunk or treat. So I wasn't part of the library people, but I was here anyways. Very well run. It was raining, but we were told to bring tents, and that worked out well. And people came in the rain, and there were a ton of people, even though the weather wasn't the best, and it was a very well run from my perspective.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. That was not much else this month from my perspective. So, and then agenda item 10, the personnel committee met at 5:00 today, and we went into closed session and looked at Jennifer's evaluations. And at the December meeting, we will present a summary of that for everybody to approve. Couldn't get it all together in time for this meeting.
So
We didn't even try, so. And
the-
then we need to set a date with Jennifer. Jennifer, you could, help us set a date to then, shortly after that board meeting, meet with you to do your evaluation.
Need to be a closed session.
We will need a
Yeah.
closed session at the December meeting.
Okay.
Yes.
And ultimately, it would be good to try to do your meeting as soon after.
Right.
So that you could
We could,
possibly work on your goals before the retreat.
Yeah, definitely.
yes,
Yeah.
that's, what we talked about. So you can work on them before then. Well, I mean, obviously,
Right,
that's
but
the
yeah.
goal of all this, which is like this every year, so.
Yep.
Okay. Report of the library director, agenda item 11.
So, we had another resignation of a library assistant over the weekend. But we have 60 applicants.
Was it a good time to quit?
I talked to Dana this morning and we can just hire 2 people with the
Okay.
that pool of people. So that's good, We're sad because we really liked, it's Emma, who's going back to teaching. Because it's just too hard for her to support herself on a part-time library assistant job, which is it's gonna happen. We're sad because we really liked her. But she's still thinking about going into library science, so she said maybe we'll meet again down the road.
Nice.
And we had a lot of illnesses.
Wait, before you go on to that,
Yeah.
I do want to just back up. Just to make the library board aware, the city has asked that instead of their human resources person screening the applications, Jennifer has to now look at every single one of them and screen them. And hasn't been when there's 5 people applying, it's not an issue, but she had to screen 60 applications for a city position when the city has an HR person. So I'm just letting you know because that's taking up a lot of her time recently to do that.
It'd be nice
So
if they used Indeed.
In the past, yeah.
yeah,
In the past, Dana's gone through and pretty much has sent us like her top 10. And then we would look at the top 10. If we needed more than that, we'd say, okay, can you send us 5
another batch
more?
or something. Yeah.
And she would send us 5 more. It didn't usually get to that though.
Mm-hmm.
Because, she was pretty good at knowing what
Right.
we were looking
So-
for.
Yeah.
So, 60 applicants was a lot of, looked like a whole ream of.
So it's a change in policy on the city's part, and just recently has created, extra work for Jennifer at a time when she was about to tell us that there's been a lot of people
Do
sick
we know
here.
that policy change goes across all city departments?
That's what
No,
I was going to be looking
I can
We're
into.
not
tell
gonna
you
be
that.
we're not gonna be the whipping boy for the city. Just
Right.
as, we're not the police department or the fire department. Let them go ahead and screen all of the applications that they have. That's why you
Well-
have HR.
Well, that was,
Sorry.
yeah, and when Jennifer mentioned it to me, my concern is that, number one, they have an HR person. We're hiring a city position. If we were a totally independent body, but it is a city position.
Yeah.
So their people should be doing their HR work. So I don't know if it's a temporary thing or if it's just for us or if it's for all departments.
I
So.
think that would have been communicated if it was anything other
Right,
Yeah.
right. So this one time, thank goodness, it wasn't 6 months from now when she had to do this again, that she was able to take care of these two positions at once. But,
Yeah, but 60 applications.
well, I know,
lot of applications.
right.
It's like, wow.
And
this-
to be honest with you, we don't have an HR person on staff here. So,
Right.
it probably isn't
Why would
under,
we need an HR person? I mean, that's ridiculous.
right.
This is
Right.
ridiculous.
Well, and
Right.
of all positions, why is there a director? The one that's
Well,
I mean,
right, 'cause-
because we don't have an HR person. but,
Right,
like,
right.
I feel like
I think we should go back and ask them if, based upon their absconding HR duties, that means that we can now set pay for all the employees.
Right.
Because they keep telling us what the pay is.
Right. Oh, well, if they're.
Does that mean that we can set our own pay? And they're going to say no. And then I think we should say, well, then it seems like you're hiring the individuals, you're setting the terms and conditions of employment. You should be the one who's screening them.
So I was going to either stop in or call Dana and just feel this situation out a little bit so I can get some more information and see what the precedence is gonna be going forward for this. And
Especially, it sounds like 60 applications is just out of the norm.
well, that is, yes.
So you have this one-time event that may never happen again, and on that, we're changing policies.
What
That's
came
crazy.
first, the 60 applications or the decree?
Right, though that's a good question.
Probably I'm guessing the decree because,
But wait, did they
She-
tell you before they got the applications and before he posted it?
no, I didn't know before we posted it that I would be going through all the
I
applications.
should
feel
send
like
it back
this
to her
was
and
the
say,
second
okay,
thing.
Now
yeah.
we'll know for next time.
Right.
Well,
I kind of
even-
feel like they were like, oh my God, there's 60 of them to go through. No, you have to do it.
Yeah, let them do
Yeah.
them.
And
what
maybe
I'm thinking.
maybe it was because there were so many.
Okay. Well,
But
I'll
I
feel her
can-
out and I'll
Yeah.
try to have an answer.
Yeah, but 60 applications was a lot.
Okay.
How many do you have it narrowed down to?
We've got like 5 or 6
45.
that have some type of library experience. And then we have a few, that we think could have real potential. So I'd say we probably have like 11. Ideally, we want to get down to, we only want to interview like 6. Because otherwise it's
Right.
That
A lot
again
of
is
time.
yeah.
a lot of
And
time.
what's the pay rate for that?
19, starts out at $19.21.
Nice.
Are they both part time? They're both part time positions.
20-hour week.
Okay.
Yep. So, we also will be at the beginning of the year be hiring a shelver.
Hmm.
So, cause we got wind that one of our shelvers is probably, her husband retired and she's probably
I gotcha.
on her way out. And we have a couple of shelvers in college who aren't working, they're 10 hours a week, so.
Okay.
What hours does the library assistant work? Do two of them work during the same hours?
Everybody's kind of,
Well, I'm just asking to see, like, would it be, I'm granted, we have enough applicants, so never mind. I was wondering, like, if it would make sense to do one full-time position.
with the
No.
benefits.
Benefits.
It kills us,
Oh,
because
that's
they would
right.
add on WRS, it would add on health
That
insurance.
makes sense. That makes
Yeah.
sense.
I mean, that's one thing that would keep us from having quite as much turnover as we have now. At the same
Right.
time, it's
Right.
not really
Yeah,
affordable
feasible.
for the library.
Yep. That makes
And as long as you
sense.
continue to get quality applicants, maybe the turnover is
Isn't
high, but
as big of a
sometimes
deal,
it's, yeah.
Okay.
The panic alarms, you'll be happy to know they were tested today and they all work.
Excellent.
Okay.
Phew,
So when we trip a panic alarm, not only do they get an audible at the police department, they also get the video
Oh,
pops
it
up from
pops up
that
immediately.
area.
Oh, nice.
So like if I pop the panic alarm at the CERC desk,
Mm-hmm.
the CERC camera is also
Mm.
shown along with the audible beep or whatever it is.
Just at the
Right.
police station, you mean?
Yeah, and then the info desk, when I pop that, it's the info desk camera,
Security camera,
and
yeah.
kids, it's the kids'
Yep, okay,
camera.
okay.
So,
Nice.
Cindy and I had a talk, and she said probably because I was testing them when we changed the clocks,
Oh, okay.
and we're like, she said she said, and these were her words, with the fragility of the system, it's probably best to do it at least once a month, if not more, but every 2 weeks would be
Oh.
hard because.
Yeah, I know.
So what we determined is that we would test them on the afternoons of board meetings.
Oh,
Because
okay.
I'm always here.
Right,
I'm always
right.
here.
Yeah, that's a
So
good
I'm
idea.
always here that afternoon, so it'll just be our little routine that on a board meeting day, we'll test the panic alarms and,
You can
It'll
tell
make
us they're
things
working.
yeah.
Why is the
We're
system
not
so
working.
fragile?
I don't know, I didn't.
That's terrible.
I don't
That's
know if
when
it has
they're
to
old.
do, I
Is
don't know
that-
if it has to do with the lack of internet, like the internet's kinda, cause they don't have cable, like we do, we actually have better internet than they have at the city, the
Oh.
library does,
Wait,
so,
these,
Does it go to the city or the police department?
this is put in by the new system?
yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway,
So this brand new system is really fragile and won't always be able to.
that was her words, and I don't wanna she just said the fragility of the system. And I know she was talking about the panic, because remember how we had the problem with the panic alarms
Yeah.
a few years ago?
Yeah.
And it took them like a year and a half to,
Yeah, that's what kind
Well, I
of,
can translate that to not dependable.
Because
Seriously,
yeah.
when somebody says it's fragile, that
It's
just
fragile.
means it might work, it might not.
So what
So
did
what
we
good
just
is it?
spend all this
I
money
was
on
just gonna
it?
say, like,
Is it just strictly the panic button that's fragile?
that would be probably what I would think. I don't think that the security system itself is fragile. I think it's the panic alarms.
Well, and you had made a comment about the internet, so maybe
And
it's,
the internet's-
it's communication back to whoever's gonna
Mm-hmm.
take care of
Can we
right,
do like
Security.
cans with string?
right.
Run it out to the,
flares.
Hornet.
Right.
run it out to the police department?
Yeah. So anyway, that's,
Homing
Yeah.
pigeons.
No, we'd have to
Leslie,
feed them.
get out.
Go home, yeah.
so I told you about the plumbing, the plumber's coming tomorrow.
Oh my god.
And our new cleaner Bernardo is evidently very speedy.
Is he good?
Yeah.
Is that credenza dusted? I didn't even look. It is.
But, once again, are we paying for 4 hours when we're only getting 2? No, I mean, like,
I
what
don't
is the?
know, yeah.
Okay,
We're really paying for a job
okay,
as opposed
All
to
right.
hours.
opposed to hours or people, okay, all right,
So you're satisfied?
But Bernardo is spending more than 2 hours.
Okay.
gotcha,
So I
okay.
mean,
All right.
He's doing a good job. So yes, I am.
Satisfied, good.
I actually haven't met him yet, but because
But you see the results of his work?
When does
I'm
he come?
told. I mean, I have
Yeah,
my spies.
absolutely,
I
yeah.
have my spies.
When does he come?
6:30. Patio, you see that the mud jacking has been done. So knocking on wood. Public hearings tomorrow. Materials lockers are busy. The sustainability project. Yeah, if you have any questions about that, I can talk about that.
Is that something that the city's doing?
So this was a city initiated thing, just to get an idea of, are there projects that could be done? You know, like for example, our roof. Can we add solar, you know, if we're doing a roof, does it make sense to add solar? And so Johnson Controls, they work with cities, they worked with La Crosse and did a big, huge $11 million project with them, with solar panels.
Is it looking like they are for sure gonna work with us?
I
Do we
think the
know yet?
city has to decide.
City has to decide.
Oh, okay, we're
but-
still up in the air.
So they met with me, and they were meeting with the fire department, the police
All the
department,
different, yeah.
all the different departments,
Okay.
to get a sense of citywide,
Mm-hmm,
what are some sustainability projects. They also go out and look for grants
mm-hmm.
to make it more affordable.
They do a lot of,
Yeah, so anyway, it was a good meeting. They were taking a lot of notes. I griped about the HVAC a lot.
well, and I will mention that it was during the finance committee meeting when Carrie and Alan and I were sitting there and discussing all the projects that needed to be done here. And that is when Kelly said, oh, I wonder if this would be something that Johnson Controls could do, and they could do a citywide thing. So it was, kind of came out of our need for multiple things done here, so, yeah.
So our Sit with Santa program was very successful. We had 82 kids. So we did have some no-shows, which was a bummer because we also turned people away who wanted to be there. But the people who came that day, who didn't register, did get in.
Oh, that's nice, yeah.
So it was well received.
Now, the cookie bake sales,
Yes. So the cookie and bake sale is December 9th.
same as the Nutcracker Tea Party.
Yeah.
Do we have, how is the calendar raffle sale going? Do we have any
Sold
idea?
35
Okay,
calendars so far, which is 35 more than we had sold at this time last year because we started earlier.
right.
Right.
And that'll go through?
December 31st.
Okay. Do they have people helping sell those at these Christmas
Yeah.
things?
So we're selling coffee too.
Okay.
So we got the coffee sale, the calendar, the foundation. So I'm kind of doing the report of the Franklin Public Library Foundation right now.
Oh,
Maybe I
sorry.
can talk about that in a minute.
Okay.
FPL at a glance, again, really good month.
Nice.
Really, really good month. So,
Are we seeing any trends? Increase in
Okay,
gate count,
yeah.
increase in, so
So-
like now we can say, like,
so I
you know,
was
that would cause us to,
talking.
especially since they're coming on strategic planning.
Right.
So I was talking at the WLA conference with the head of the, his exact title is, but he's the head of public libraries for DPI. And we were talking about trends. And our trend is, our circulation is going kind of like, but our gate count and our programming is like that. And it just shows that people are using the library for different reasons, you know.
Which is
I mean,
what
our
we want.
program attendance is crazy this year.
know.
You've
Yeah.
seen it in
I
kids,
know.
Yeah.
and the
It's
kids tell me
insane.
all the time, "Oh, we had X number of people." They're like, "We're gonna like size out of the children's activity room because we have so
I
many."
know. A real thing that is going to have to be looked at is what do we do about these programs where people are getting very angry because the registration is full in 5 minutes and people can't register. So, like the program today, they had to open up, but then they open it up to the availability of, you know, I don't know what they went from like
I have a
35 to,
suggestion. What we do is we move all the stacks into the children area and we use all of that for programming.
but it's the cost, like the cost of
This-
people are then
materials.
mad.
Right.
So you open it up, but then we're spending more because now you have to provide
Right.
more
Well, and that's one of the
supplies.
downsides of having a building where you have walls that are
Right.
fixed,
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to things that you can do to get multiple use out of it, so that the fewer walls, the
Mhm.
better. Or things like what you have with Phaedra,
Mm-hmm,
right?
Right.
I mean, or you go to a hotel, right? It's like, okay, do you want the whole ballroom?
right.
Or do you want to have 1/3 of it or 2/3 of
Well,
it?
the
or
kids
what do you
programs
do?
are
They
filling up
do.
Phaedra,
You can
like
section
They do.
they said today was
Yeah.
packed in Phaedra because I sent somebody else with my kids. And
The
they
day
said
was
it was
busy.
insanely packed in Phaedra. It was totally nuts. They're like, I felt terrible for Miss Brittany because it was kind of
Chaos.
crazy in there. Yeah, it was
I
just
don't know.
chaos in there, as is in some of the kids'
And they
programs.
do
with
use
crafts.
Phaedra a lot.
They
because
use it a lot.
They use it a lot. And the good thing is that most of their programs are using for in the mornings when nobody else is
Mhm.
using it.
Right.
So by afternoon, you know, if we have a paying renter who wants to use it, usually they can get in.
Right.
Well,
But
the good news, as Mike said, we have strategic plans
Yeah.
kicking up again in,
Yeah.
in 2024, so
But,
we
but
can.
now, if it
Yeah.
becomes a situation where we are space constrained because, okay, we've got these outside walls and we can't, there's nothing we can do on the inside anymore. We can have programs here, and here, but we still need to have everything else, and you need to have reading space and meeting rooms. It's like, are we outgrowing the building? Do we need to think about, adding on
Mhm.
interior space?
Yeah, except for the programming is so expensive too, so we have
Yeah.
budgetary constraints to think about too. So
Right.
as
Right.
far as growing the programs, we would
We
need that
have.
money to finance
The
the program.
programs.
Right.
So, I mean.
We have grown the
Materials
program.
It's
Can we charge
wonderful
a fee
that
for
they're
the
so
programs?
popular,
Sorry.
but
Can we
we
charge
have
a fee for the
to
programs?
have limits to them,
So you can't,
unless somebody's gonna give us.
I
a big
wonder-
budget
cannot charge a
infusion.
fee for a program, but
Yeah,
you
you
can
can
charge a
charge.
supply fee. So like the cookie decorating,
I was gonna say
we're charging
how-
$5 to
I was-
help cover the cost
But
of the
what,
supplies.
all of our programs require, almost all of them for the children, I'm
Not-
assuming.
How
Yeah, a
did
lot
that
of them
fill
do.
up as fast? I didn't register
cookie
for that
decorating?
one.
Which one? The cookie decorating?
Yeah.
Oh, it filled up. Carrie can tell you. She actually is scheduling a second session.
She of the cookie
Yeah.
decorating. Okay, so that's good news because sometimes I wonder with Franklin people because Franklin people are a little less likely to open up their wallets for donations sometimes.
Oh no, it was filled up.
It filled up really fast. That's awesome.
Yeah, there was one woman who came after work to sign up, and it was already full. And she's like, "Well, I can't get here to pay." So I'm going to work with Carrie because I think it's not. I think
Yeah,
we
then
should
we get
say
into accessibility
sign up.
issues then too, we have to be a
Sign
little
up.
careful of that, I think.
Sign
Gotta
up.
be able to pay
Give them
online.
3 days to pay.
Oh,
if they
there you
haven't
go.
paid within the 3 days, then
Their
you
name
open
they
it up
dropped,
to
so.
more. Then you say your name's dropped off of here
That's
because
That's fair.
it's hard for people who work. I sympathize with that.
right. Mm-hmm.
You know, and the programs need, yeah. But it's, I mean, that's an exception. That's just an exception of one that we charge for, and the reason we charge for that because it's
We charge
expensive.
for all year.
Carrie and Sarah are going to start charging for their
Big
their
stuff.
cooking classes next year.
Well, I
Good. For some of the big programs, we need to start charging something for supplies.
Well,
I
and
mean,
I
they
have a
get
question too,
food.
do we?
Because we don't get the donations. Like we hope that people are
Right.
just going to give donations and they
This
just
might be good for that, retreat discussion.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
maybe we make some parking lot items this month and next month.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, and,
Things we absolutely
Okay.
positively want to talk about. And
Yep.
if we
Yeah,
need to
that's-
create a separate group
yep,
that now looks at that on creative ways that we can go ahead and fund these things that are wildly popular, we hate to have to cut it or turn people away when really there might be some opportunities to fund it somehow.
Let's have a raffle. I'm sorry, I know you want to move on. Let's have a raffle like the foundation does, the Education Foundation, where like you raffle off, you get the first and second spot of every programming
Oh, that would
Oh.
be fantastic.
That would
In the
probably-
children's
And
area?
sell raffle tickets for $5 a piece
Yeah.
as a donation.
Well, my question is,
The foundation
Yeah.
could do that, because they can do raffles.
Yeah.
my question would be, and you might have insight at least with the kids programming, how many Franklin residents are taking up spots in our programming versus other communities? And do we want to do something too, like Franklin residents have the first day or two to sign up before any other city? I mean, because then
I
do we
think
have
we have a
Franklin-
lot of Franklin.
residents irritated that they go to their library for a program and it's full of Greendale people? I remember when my kids were little that every winter of those children's summer reading raffles were not Franklin.
Now in the summer, we do
You know.
get hit more because we're one
Oh.
of the only libraries that are
Screensaver.
offering prizes.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah,
So we get
I
hit a little
know.
more at summer
Yeah.
reading. For the
Yeah.
programs themselves, I think a lot of
Most
the
are
people
Franklin?
are Franklin.
Oh, that's good to know. See, I'm not in touch with that. I don't know about the other ones. Anyways, okay.
Yeah.
I
So-
agree with you, Mike, that we'll get some
Yeah,
of the
let's
stuff
talk
on
about
the.
that at the other meeting.
So, so the foundation, I can go right into foundation.
Okay,
So the foundation's having the bake sale on December 9th from 9 to 3.
Can you just bring stuff? Like if I
yeah.
have time, I can just
2
drop
days,
some off.
not like
That's
Thursday
not
or
frigid.
Friday.
Okay.
We don't have a lot of freezer space.
yeah, don't bring refrigerators.
Oh no, I meant like that morning. Can
You
I
don't
just
have to
bring
sign
stuff
up
that
ahead
day?
of time. Just bring it if you do
can
it
bring
right.
it that morning if that's the best time for you, yeah. But
I hear you. I hear you.
Yes, I
I've
got
done
time to bake these. Here you go.
we're getting 2 tickets for the Borner Botanical Lights.
Ooh, nice.
And we're going to use that as an incentive for people to bake and say that everybody who bakes everybody who makes 2 dozen cookies or a pan of brownies or a cake or something equivalent will get entered into a drawing for
Yeah, yeah.
one of the 2
Nice.
and
Carloads
maybe
and
we'll
things. Okay.
up our. So,
But now last year you had bakery left over. You were
we
selling
sold
it.
almost all of it.
Oh, you did? Okay, because you had some out on the tables.
Oh, we
Last year was
always
slower,
do.
though.
Oh, okay.
We always have leftover, but last year was kind of slow because the weather was weird and that.
Oh, okay.
We had that parade at
Yeah.
last year was just
Oh,
weird.
it's so
Yeah, it was a
cold.
weird.
Yeah.
But this year you have 2 different programs during that bake sale time.
Yep, that's what we're hoping to catch a lot of people. The foundation's also selling coffee. We're doing it a little different this year. In the past, you would order the coffee, we would go pick it up and then call you to come get it. This year, we just bought the coffee
Yeah, yeah.
and you can buy it here.
Nice.
So it's here.
So you're dropping off your
It's here.
bakery at the last
Yeah.
minute. You can buy some coffee too.
And
Well,
then-
we're attending the Nutcracker Tea
There
Party.
you go. You don't have
My
to like,
bake sale
write it on your
items might not
calendar
come
2
till
weeks.
1.
We still take them. We also been invited to be at Enchant
Oh,
and have a table there.
Oh.
And so we're gonna sell calendar raffles and coffee there.
nice.
That will be good for calendar raffle.
Yeah, except we have to take the shuttle, park in the, we can say parking lot, take the shuttle
Well, you
over
don't
to
want
the-
to get the the $200 parking fee.
No. So, we're hoping to sell a lot of calendars and maybe coffee.
Yeah,
What time do you have to be there?
4:30.
Till when?
We can be there as long as we want, it goes till, 11.
Like on a specific day.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's-
December 2nd.
It's kind of
So
like the
next
milkman
Saturday.
game. There are different groups, I think, that come in.
And you have enough volunteers to help you cover that?
Well, it's me and Laura, or it might be Sam and Laura, because Sam wants me to work Sunday because he got Packer tickets. But anyway,
You're negotiating to
We're
stand out in the
negotiating.
cold.
but yeah, it'll be the 2 of us. There really, I
Nice.
don't think there needs to be more.
Yeah.
And you have people that are going to go around these programs to help sell calendar raffle tickets?
Programs.
Well, like in cookie decorating.
Oh, yeah.
and
We'll
whatever.
talk about it. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Because otherwise, I'm like, when I'm here, I happily will take them. And too bad we don't have Venmo.
We
'cause
do have PayPal.
I know it's still not as fast as Venmo. But I will happily direct people to go to the register to buy the raffle tickets. And because I think a lot of people just didn't know, like, we got a good response last year, but I still think a lot of people didn't know about them, because it's a great deal.
It's the first year we
Yeah,
did it.
I won a couple times.
I
Two,
know.
3 times. Yeah, I donated
Twice.
it back. Yeah, but I won.
So that's the update from the foundation.
Okay, foundation members.
Oh, no, I have one more.
Uh-huh.
Annie, I heard Annie over
Oh,
there.
yeah.
So the Library Foundation received a $10,000 grant from
Come
Northwestern
on.
Mutual.
Northwest
from a-
Mutual?
Wow.
Yeah,
It's
Northwestern
awesome.
Mutual from a
They're
patron,
very particular.
Patron.
who
Some
nominated
random
us
patron
because the
nominated
library
us.
has had a significant impact on her and her family.
That's amazing.
Do you know who?
Isn't
I
that
know the
cool?
name, and the
Okay.
kids librarians know the name, but we
Okay.
can't put a face to her.
Is she a Northwestern Mutual employee?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to be.
So there's a name for it. It's like
Sponsor or something like that?
CARES.
Oh, the program.
Yeah,
I
the
can't remember which one it is.
Does your husband work for Emma?
No,
Yeah.
you.
Who? Gotcha.
so anyway, so that was very good news.
Wow.
So
Yes, we could thank them, obviously.
oh yeah, yeah, I already
Okay, we know who it is, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So when I was at
Days
the
of sharing.
Days of Sharing.
Days
Thank
of
you.
Sharing, okay.
Days of Sharing.
Fabulous. When I was at the grocery store the other day, the little bell ringer thing, at the top of it, have you seen this? They had 3 things. Tap here to donate $5, tap here to donate 10, tap, you can just tap your phone or
Apple Pay
or your credit card right on, and it was like a $5, 10, or 15.
Oh,
You didn't need, it wasn't a QR code or nothing. It was a tap. So there's another yet thing to look into besides Venmo. Have them up-
entrance to the library.
or at the children's program, you like this program? I don't know.
Yeah. Technology.
There we go, technology. All right. Terry's not here, so we don't have a Coland report. Upcoming meetings, the personnel committee needs to, we're gonna report at the December meeting and then meet with Jennifer. So we do not anticipate having an official meeting anytime in the near future, so we'll just do it when we need to.
I'd like to congratulate the Personnel Committee on doing a fantastic job this year.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
Second.
Let me just get in there on that.
All right, and then we are meeting the 18th, which is, I think, the third. Yeah, it is the
Monday.
third Monday because Christmas is the 4th. So, does anybody know right now that that is not going to work for them? All right.
I make a motion to adjourn.
A second.
And Mike seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
All righty.